Well, hello again. Last video we closed out by telling you I was going to go to Hobby Lobby to the picture frame department, which they've helped me in the past with other radios, and I was going to try to get them to maybe make me something like this out of that thick cardboard and stuff that they have there that they use for, I guess it's the backing for prints or something when they put them in the picture frame, something like that. Anyway, I went down there and I told the young man what I needed behind the counter. His name was Cal, young fella. He understood right away. Kaboom! And he couldn't do enough for me. I said, man, this is fantastic. And he said, well, now, I said, are you going to be able to get something around that thick? He said, I don't think I have anything quite that thick. I said, well, you got anything close to it? And he said, well, I can maybe put a couple there. It might work. I said, I'll tell you what, stack them up till you get the right thickness. He said, oh, okay, I can do that. So, when I went back an hour later, he had this ready for me. Is this cool or not? Look at that. Listen to this. Hard as a rock. I'm not going to have to worry about this breaking business. But I need this as my pattern to put the holes where they need to be, to drill the holes in. And he did a fabulous job. I really like going to the picture frame department at Hobby Lobby because they know what they're doing there. Look at that. It's exactly the same. And I'm real happy now. So I'm hoping that this video will finish everything up, close it out, and we'll be done. And that's what it's going to look like once I get it, permanently in there. Plenty of overlap. A little bit more on this side I guess I could use. I'll shift it over this way. I'll make sure I got a good overlap all the way around, then we'll just staple it right there. Now I don't know if I'm going to put the screen wire back on it or not. But before I do anything, I'm going to have to put these in the Evaporust. Put this down overnight in the Evaporust with it, and then we'll see what we have when we get done. This is going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be nice and stiff, nice and flat on the front. No more broken stuff. And I have to use these screws because they have little teeth. See the little teeth? They bite into the... all I got to do is drill my holes, and the teeth will go down and bite into the cardboard or whatever this stuff is. I don't know what it is, but it's great. Whenever I have screws, nuts, or bolts or anything that need to be derusted, I put them inside of a paint can lid, then just stick them in the basket, lower the whole thing down in, and then just tip it over and let it fill with the Evaporust. Just let it take it right down to the bottom, okay? Now that Evaporust will not hurt you, by the way. Let's see what I got here. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to make it work. We're going to bend it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, we'll worry about this tomorrow. After I scrubbed this thing down and it dried out, there's a lot of little flaky crap that's coming off of it, real fine stuff. And before I put any gray primer on, or gray charcoal gray paint on it, I think what I need to do is spray it with some clear to kind of adhere everything together first. Boy, I'll tell you what, these microfiber cloths and these things, they stick like glue to one another. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and spray it with some clear, and hopefully that'll, I'm not going to saturate it, just put enough on there to hopefully around the edges. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the back. Hopefully that'll keep everything kind of together and stop that flaking. I've decided to try a little experiment with this speaker cover. Got it sitting on plastic right now. I'm going to try to mist some silver on there and see if some of these horizontal things can't catch it. And it won't be much, just enough to maybe kind of give it a glint of silver. Now, of course, if it doesn't work, it's not a problem. I'll just paint over it with the gray. So let's see what happens. I'm going to get far back from this. Well, I don't know. By using the gray and the silver and kind of blending it with this paintbrush, I might have got the effect I'm looking for. It's kind of a grayish silver. I don't know. I got her to fit really nice inside there. It was too big, you know, which I knew it would be, and I had to file it down with a hand file and use the sanding drum on my motor tool. I just worked at it bit by bit by bit. Not much, just a little bit each time. It took me about, you know, an hour and a half to get it to where I wanted it, and I've got enough play now that I can put the speaker cloth in. The speaker cloth's pretty thick, and I drilled a couple of holes to make sure that the screws are the right size, and they are. I'll finish drilling the other holes. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we can go ahead and staple our cloth on. I'm not going to put that screen wire back on the back. I don't know why they had that on there. It was probably a dust preventer or, I don't know, trash preventer. I've never seen screen wire in the back of a speaker in anything so far. Not to say it doesn't exist. I've just never seen it. So let's finish this up. Let's see if I can get that in there. I really do want to finish this project up to get the speaker back in, call it quits, finish up the Crosley radio we're also working on, and then I can move on to something else. I've got to plow through all this backlog because everybody kept saying, when are you going to work on radios? When are you going to work on radios? When I was on the Thunderbird. Well, I'm working on radios now, and I'm not leaving until I get them all done because you asked for it. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. One more step. All I have to do is paint this and hook the wires up, put it back in the speaker box. Done. I wanted to take my time on this though because there was an awful lot of dust up underneath here, everywhere around the spider. And I saw something that I thought was kind of interesting. When they soldered these wires on, whether it be at the factory or whoever else did it, they did it really loud. They dripped solder all down on the inside of the speaker. See that right there? Don't do that. Don't do that. And there was some over here, but I was able to pick it off with my finger a little bit. Reach down in my pinky. Get down in there and get it off a little bit. This here is going to be a little more difficult. I'm going to try to get it out without damaging the speaker. I was successful in getting that solder off that speaker without damaging it, which is kind of nice. Interesting thing I wanted to bring up before I paint this and everything, I'm going to have to de-rust this with navel jelly on both sides, but they got these little covers they put on each side of the coil there. Isn't it neat? Huh? It's kind of slick. I've never seen them like that. They keep the dirt and grunge and grime and crap out. Of course, I'm going to have to de-rust them with navel jelly and get them cleaned up. I'll have to try to paint them. I tell you what, I don't know. I'd like to paint them the original black, but I think that's going to wind up being too much of a hassle. I'd wind up getting black paint everywhere. I think I'll just paint the entire thing silver. Maybe I should just paint it red. Nah, what dummy would do that? Here's a little hint for those who find it a little too difficult to work with stiff paper or newspaper. And you have like this, I have a basket with a whole pile of holes in it. You would think it would be easier, but it's not, because it's real deep underneath here, way down into here, and it goes way up into here, and you've got to mask off that cone so you don't get, you know, like silver paint all over the cone. It would be okay, but it just wouldn't look good. You can use paper towel. Use paper towel. It's very easy, very flexible. You can just cut it in strips, and then it's easy to get up underneath there. See there? Nothing to it at all. You just got to be careful you don't. This just goes right up in there with virtually no problem at all. Now these wires may get a little bit of silver paint on them. We don't have much choice there, but it's not that big a deal. And then down here, all I got to do is take it and stuff it right down in here. You got a nice pair of tweezers like these. These really work good. Look around for some. Don't ask me what kind they are. They're left over from what wifey had. I got them one day and I said, "Can I have these?" She said, "Sure." I've been using them ever since. But it works real well. It's a lot easier. Easier with two hands, of course, but see how easy that was? Now I'm going to go ahead and finish around any place where there might be a space, like right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that paper towel down in there, and that'll really help. And try to get it over here. I got a little space over here. You can see I don't want to get any of that silver paint down in there if I can help it. And it will get there, trust me. Probably the best part about using paper towels is once you cut your strip, you can just take it and rip it off. You don't have to cut it or anything. Place it over the hole. You can even fold it up if you want. Just put it over the hole. It really works well with this with this kind of thing. Of course, you just always have nice to have two hands. Just stick it over the hole like that and kind of stuff it in a little bit. Then just go ahead and start poking around. It'll just go right up in there and cover all your cone, all your little spots where you think there might be paint. There's no such thing as overkill. The only thing you got to be careful of is you don't poke a hole through the back of the speaker cone. And if you do, of course, there's always a way to fix that. But be careful. You know, take your time. There's no rush. What's the hurry? This speaker's been waiting since 1935 to get a coat of paint. It can wait another day or a few more hours. I've decided to try to do something dangerous. You know, you only learn by trial and error. So let's give this a try. Let's try to get this out of here. I looked at this very closely with my flashlight, and those two little things right there, right here, right here, they do not look like spot welds. It looks to me like they punched the metal down partially on one side, and when they put this thing in, it caught right here and kept it from coming back out. So here's my theory. If I get a knife under here and lift both of those up, this thing should pop right out. I can't imagine why they would weld the cover in and leave it. Can't even fix the stupid thing. But let's see what happens. Well, the idea here right now, as I take a look at it, is to get a knife blade under there and kind of lift it up a little bit. Maybe I can get this front edge of this thing that they punched down. Maybe I can get it to come up, and then same thing with the other, and then maybe it'll come out from the bottom. I don't know. Maybe it'll be destroyed. I don't know. Now I ask you, am I brilliant or am I brilliant? Yes, I am brilliant! I couldn't take it loose from the bottom. My idea was exactly right. Look at there. There's the holes, and there's the little punch downs. You can see them, which kept them from coming out. See, they punched down one side. Cool. Boy, talk about a lifesaver on that one. That's going to be a time saver. That's going in the Evapor-Rust. I mean, maybe I can do the other one while you're watching. Let me try it. I had to take it loose from the top, not the bottom. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Okay. Probably won't be able to finish this up till tomorrow now, because this is probably going to have to soak all night. Then I can spray paint them black. Meanwhile, I'll paint this silver. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have a finished product for you, and we can move on to the chassis of the Crosley. Now I'm going to have to cover these holes up with tape. I'm going to put a little piece of tape over each hole, because if I spray paint it and it puts a lot of paint in there, there won't be a nice sharp edge on either one of them to catch the little things on the bottom here. It has to be metal to metal, so it won't be any problem because the whole thing covers it anyway. Okay, a lot of it's being held on with a magnet. Can you believe that? Now you know what a permanent magnet speaker is. That's the magnet. That's the see. Look at there. Cool, huh? Up here it doesn't do it. Just down here. Alright, let me get the tape on and then we'll get ready to paint. One more thing before I start spraying. You see that copper right there? That's your voice coil. You do not want to get any paint down in there because it'll keep the coil from going up and down. No, that's not good. You know, you're going to be trying to, if you ever try to paint down like this edge right here, you get that thing stuck and it won't work. So I'm going to put some paper towel around it. Just like that. What I did was I took a long strip, I ran it through here, through that space, and wrapped it all the way around, brought it around, and tucked it in. I tucked it in on the other side, but this is what we're looking for. You want that coil to be free of paint. And just try not to load it up, okay? Because some could get through. You do your best. You just do your best to keep it from happening. Looks pretty good right now, I think. We'll see. Now we wait for it to dry, and then I'll put a clear coat, satin clear coat over the top, make it look like metal instead of this shiny crap. We are ready to pull the paper out of this thing. I put a couple of alligator clips on the end. And all I got to do is clip them on the back of the radio when the time comes. Alright, now let me see what's going to happen here. Let me see, where's my flashlight? I want to make sure I don't have any paint. Alright, I'm glad there's no paint on there. Let me check the other side. And I don't see any paint on there either. I'll check it when I get all the paper out and see if it's gonna, see if that voice coil is gonna go up and down before we do anything. But I can't put this in the box until tomorrow because I have those two side pieces soaking in the Evapo-Rust, you'll remember. So let's go. Let me go ahead and just see. This is what makes this. I love these paper towels. They work really good. You just pull them out. Have you a nice pair of tweezers. A pair of tweezers like this is the best kind for this sort of work. They really go down to a point. They got a little bend at the very end too, so it sort of grips stuff. So let me go ahead and pull it the way, pull it the rest of the way out, and then find out how much silver we have on the back of the cone. Well, don't ask me how, but there is no silver paint anywhere on that speaker cone on the rear. I can't believe it. That's the first time I ever had that. Maybe I should go down and buy a lottery ticket, huh? Alright, it'll sit here until tomorrow morning, and I'll get the two side pieces that cover the magnet. I'll get it out there and out of the Evapo-Rust, and we'll paint them black and go ahead and snap them on, put them in there, and then you'll be seeing the video shortly thereafter. Well, there it is, all back in. We got our little black things all painted up nice, stuck on both sides. Looks really cool. The front looks real nice. Got a nice silvery, it's got a silvery tint to it. That turned out better than I ever thought. And then the last thing is the legs on the bottom. I decided not to drill a hole and put rubber legs on. Even though there's a little spot in the center where I probably could have done it. Well, what they did before I got it, I guess at the factory, is they took felt, some kind of thin, it was a lot thinner than this, and they stuck it on across these things like that. And it worked, I guess, for a number of years, but it wore out quick. You know, I mean, it worked, but after 3 or 4 years, it probably wasn't any good. But what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to go ahead and do the same way, but I'm going to have to cut them short because these are a little bit too long. They won't stick right if I don't. Let me get one on and we'll see how it looks. Well, it doesn't look too bad. It's holding okay. How long it'll hold is beyond me. Let me get the rest of them on. Then we're going to set the speaker up here. We're going to fire up the old Hammerlin. And we're going to see how she sounds with an original speaker. Well, it looks a little squirrely, but they're on there nice and tight. I couldn't believe it. I mean, they are really stuck on there. Alright, that's what they did at the factory. Let's hook her up. Well, that's it. That's it. One more project completed. As far as I'm concerned, it's good. And we will move on to our Crosley chassis in the next video. Until next time, this is John.
Don't go to your front door.